Hello all. In yesterday's class we were discussing about EMF equation of transformer. We left it half. So we were discussing average EMF per turn was d phi by dt, and d phi by dt can be also written as net flux, that is flux varies from 0 to maximum. So net flux will be what? Phi m minus 0. Okay. And what is the time taken to reach maximum flux? It is T by 4. Okay, but we know that T is equal to 1 by F. So substitute over here, T is equal to 1 by F. So it will be 4F here. So 4F goes up. So finally I will get average EMF as 4F phi m. This is what written here. Average EMF per turn is equal to 4F phi m. F is frequency, okay, and phi m is the maximum flux at T4th of cycle. So we are actually interested in calculation of RMS EMF per turn. So we need to multiply 1.11 to the average EMF per turn, so that we will get what? RMS EMF per turn. So whatever values we see in the voltmeter or any multimeter, these are all your RMS values. RMS value is equal to it is actually DC equivalent. Okay, the same thing is equal to, anyhow it is AC, whatever equation we have calculated and all, but this will be equal to your DC value also, means the value of this as well as the DC will be same. Okay, and now you are wondering why we need to multiply 1.11. okay, I will tell you this. Okay, see here, you can see that form factor is given by the definition IRMS divided by I average, RMS current divided by average current, or it can be written as RMS EMF divided by average EMF. Okay, so taking this knowledge here, and we know that RMS value of sinusoidal current is always Im by root 2, right? Im by root 2, and coming to this, I average is equal to 2 Im by pi. So this can be understood by this equation over here. Like I told, we have to consider sinusoidal waveform, yes, and I'm ignoring negative half cycle. Okay, I'm going to consider only positive half cycle. Okay, if I consider full whole cycle, means I would be getting it as 0, because plus minus will get 0. So only you have to consider the positive half cycle. It is equivalent to DC, like I told you earlier. Okay, so we know that Q is given by integral of 0 limit tends to pi by omega dq. Okay, this is a formula which you already know, that you learned earlier classes. And the limits, how this varied, it is 0 to pi by omega. You can see that 0 to pi by omega. Now omega is the speed, or can say radial speed in radian of this particular sinusoidal waveform. So it will be what? 0 to pi by omega dq. And dq means what? It can be written as Im sin omega t dt. And we know that t is the omega t is your variable. So what I will do is I am going to take Im common, and again integration of sin omega t is cos omega t, yes or not, and substitute all this pi by omega and the limits mathematics you do, and you will get the answer 2 Im by omega. Okay, and this we have substituted over here. Okay, form factor is equal to IRMS by I average, and this I told you, this you have to remember, RMS value of any sinusoidal wave is always what? It is 1 by root times that of peak value. Okay, so I average is 2m by pi. So what happens? Im gets cancelled. So form factor is 1.11. So what I understood here is, I can write equal to ERMS by E average. So ERMS by E average is equal to 1.11 as well, because this is what I'm going to link with the equation which you are about to derive. Okay, ERMS equal to 1.11 times that of E average. Okay, coming to my equation. So you can see ERMS, that is RMS EMF per turn, that is 1.11 times of average EMF, like I said. So average EMF per turn over here is 4F phi m. So just multiply those two, you get what? RMS EMF per turn 4.44 F phi m. Now since this RMS value is calculated with respect to only one turn, we have n1 number of turns in primary as well as n2 number of turns in the secondary. So if I want to write RMS EMF value with all n1 turns with respect to primary, then the above equation will be what? It is E1 equal to n1 times that of 4.44 frequency of 5M. Okay, just multiply n1 to the existing equation. Similarly, if you want to calculate the EMF for secondary, then just multiply n2 to this, not this. So E2 will be equal to n2 into 4.44 frequency 5M. So finally I can consolidate them, that is EMF in the primary side is equal to 4.44 F 5M N1 volts, and EMF in the secondary side is equal to 4.44 5 F F 5M N2 volts. Okay, just remember the suffixes. If it is 1 means it's primary and 2 means it is secondary. Now coming to the ratios of transformers, please do remember this ratio, very important it is as per the problems part. Okay, in future any conversion and all, the voltage as well as number of turns required, everything we need this equation. Okay, taking ratios of EMF equations. So remember E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to K. K is nothing but transformer ratio. And again they have not written one more thing over here. Along with this, you remember K is equal to I1 by I2. I1 is the primary current and I2 is the secondary current. It is not written here. Okay, so just remember it is I1 by I2 is equal to K. Okay. Okay, here I have written here I1 by I2 is equal to K is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to E2 by E1. You need to remember this also. Okay, this is your transformation ratio. And now coming to this, if N2 is greater than N1, that is if number of turns in the secondary side is greater than the number of turns in the primary side, then what happens? K value will be always greater than 1. Yes or not? Because if you divide anything bigger by smaller means always you will get value greater than 1. So in that case what happens? Your E2, that is E2 will be greater than E1. Yes or not? Just whatever the value is there, just multiply with E1, you will get what happens. Obviously E1 will be amplified, like to be multiplied. Yes or not? So your E2 will be always greater than E1. Then such type of transformers are called as step up transformer. Okay, and now if N2 is less than N1 means smaller by bigger, if you divide means obviously you will get in the values in terms of decimal, like point something, 0.0 something, 0. Okay, 0. Like this you'll get value. So what happens in that case? K value will be always less than 1, obviously, because which are going to get the value is always the form of 0. something. Yes or not? Again, if you case again multiply this E1 to this K value, then what happens? Obviously K will E1 will be reduced. Yes or not? So if you E2 is equal to K times that of E1. If K is less than 1, then what happens? E2 will be reduced. So what happens? E2 will be lesser than E1. Okay, E2 will be lesser than E1. In such case what happens? It is called as step down transformer. Okay, remember if E1 is greater than E2 means we are going to call it as step down transformer, or you can remember in this fashion also, if E2 is lesser than E1 then it's called as step down transformer. Okay, third case is very simple here. Just remember if N2 and N1 turns are same, if number of turns owned on the primary as well as secondary are same, then what happens? If same means what happens? They get cancelled, then K is equal to 1. Then now what happens? E2 will be equal to E1. So this is what we call it as what? Isolation transformer. In that case what happens? The secondary EMF as well as the primary EMF E1 will be equal to each other. Okay. And again this is for ideal transformer which are given. We know that there are some losses while supplying the AC supply to the primary as well as while supplying EMF E2 to the load and well. So what happens there? There are some losses, but if we consider ideal transformer and all, what we can say here is V1 is equal to E1 as well as V2 is equal to E2. Okay, and the product of V1 I1 is equal to the product of V2 I2. Remember, this is very important. KVA of a transformer always remains same, either it is referred to primary or secondary. Okay, once again I tell you, KVA of transformer is always same, either you refer to the primary or refer to secondary. Only it is changed in terms of in tertiary transformer. Okay, only it is different, in tertiary transformer. Okay, so I accept that all transformers have same kVA, either refer to primary or secondary. V1 into I1 is equal to input VA and V2 into I2 is equal to output VA. Okay, both will be always equal. This is only true, that is for ideal transformer, that is V1 equal to E1 as well as V2 equal to E2. Okay, now the same thing written here, even for ideal transformer also this holds good. Like I said, they have missed here, they have written here I1 by 2 is equal to, just remember this. Okay, now coming to the VA rating and full load current. See, for this will help again in the problems. Okay, for any transformer you should be able to calculate the value of full load current when they have given you the rated voltage and all. Okay, so this is the formula how to calculate. The transformer rating is specified product of, as like we told you, it is always product of voltage as well as current with respect to primary as well as secondary, and both are same. So what happens here? So obviously voltage into current is nothing but watt. No, if I was having DC and all, I would have told it as watt, but it is, since it's a transformer which operates at various power factors, so watt will be not here. Instead of calling it as watt, we are going to call it as kVA or MVA or just VA. Okay, so it's not wattage. So I'm going to remove that wattage here. Why? Because since it is a AC, and again your transformer works on wide various power factors, so watt doesn't hold good here. Instead of writing that, we should write here kVA rating. Okay, kVA rating. Anyhow, it is in the terms of voltage and current. If I divide by 1000 means what happens? Obviously, if you want to convert VA into kVA, then what you have to do? You have to divide by 1000. Yes or not? That's what they have done here. kVA rating is equal to V1 into I1 by 1000 with respect to primary. If I want to calculate kVA rating in the secondary means, obviously this you know, to multiply V2 and I2 and again divide by just 1000. So if we know the kVA rating of a transformer, like I said, it is always same whether it is referred to primary or secondary. It is always constant except the tertiary transformer that you will learn in your coming classes. So if you know the kVA rating of the transformer, if you know the rated voltage of anyone, whether it is primary or secondary, then you can calculate what? Full load current I1 with respect to primary as well as I2 with respect to secondary. Sometimes what happens, step up transformers, step down transformers are both values of V1 and V2 will be different. So I1 and I2 will be different. If V1 and V2 are same, then I1 and I2 will be also same. Like when if anyhow kVA rating is constant for such transformers. Okay, so you can calculate what? Full load current with respect to primary as well as secondary. Okay, this is what they are given here, again same, that is I1 as well as I2. So full load current can be calculated by this formula. Same thing, either you remember this or either you remember this. Okay, now coming to the losses in transformers. Okay, so basically there are two types of losses in transformer. One is constant losses and another one is variable losses. Okay, constant losses include core loss or iron loss, whereas variable losses include copper losses. Okay, these core or iron losses are categorized under what? Constant losses, and copper losses are categorized under what? Variable losses. As the name itself indicates, core or iron losses, that is constant losses, will be always constant irrespective of the load you connect or not connect. Either you connect load or you don't connect the load, always such type of losses will be always present in the transformer when it is turned on. Okay, coming to the copper losses depends upon the load condition. Okay, depending upon the load, copper losses will be there. Okay, if load is more, copper loss will be also more. If load is less, copper loss will be less. If load is not there, means if load is zero, that is if I keep my secondary circuit of the transformer open, then what happens? Current will be zero, that is secondary current will be zero. So what happens? Copper loss will be also zero. If load is there, then only copper losses are there. If load is not there, then there is no any copper losses. But this is not true for this. Either you connect load or you don't connect.